Hello from the Seether bus. Lou Brutus here backstage at Rockfest, Wisconsin 2018 with Dale Stewart from Seether. Good to see you again, man. How you been?
You too. I'm well, thanks, man. Good to see you.
This has been an extremely long, I think even by Seether standards, concert run for you this tour through. I would have to think there have been some spinal tapian moments, some meltdowns, some, oh my God, get us out of here moments. What comes to mind?
There were a couple. We just got back from Europe. We were there for like 8 weeks. One that kind of jumps to mind, we were playing a show and I pulled my bass off. I was wearing a flannel, it was really hot. And I pulled my bass off and put my bass back on and it wasn't working. And my tech scrambled on stage and he switched everything out, and for like pretty much the whole song couldn't figure out what had happened. And all the while I'd turned the volume down on the guitar itself. So he changed out all the cables, the pedals, did all the stuff. We're about to change out guitars and I'm like, I had the volume down. Then it's the whole moral dilemma, like, well, should I be like, I don't know what it was, just it fixed itself, or, do I come clean and tell him that I messed up? I came clean. But, yeah, that stuff happens, it's, I woke up one morning, after tons of Jaeger bombs.
Ugh.
And, yeah, my phone was broken and I was covered in bruises, and I had no idea what was happening. So this was just weird stuff that happens, and you're not really sure how or why, but it's just, you just got to roll with it,
And the tour manager calls, Dale, there's a warrant out for your arrest in Stuttgart, Germany. It's like, what?
It happens. I had a buddy, I have a buddy, he's in another band, and he was telling me about, getting arrested in a foreign country and like beaten by the police and stuff, just like it's bad over there, like certain countries you don't want to get in trouble, you don't want to be arrested, and you want to be allowed back. That's the whole reason we're just over there. We're trying to build the band in other countries, which we feel like we've neglected it. So we started in the UK, went to South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, and then to Europe. So that was a total of 8 weeks. But that's what you got to do. You got to keep going back and have a presence in all these different places to
and let
build
me ask
the
you
name.
something. With all those border crossings, like I have heard some horror stories about just crossing U.S. to Canada, Canada to the U.S., which used to be the easiest thing, the easiest international border in the world, and now particularly bands are getting really their balls busted. In some cases, they just shake you down for money. I mean, what kind of things have you guys run into? Hopefully not that bad.
Honestly, the worst ones have probably been Canada. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But they're really strict, eh? I don't know what it is. But whenever you go through there, like they'll pull you off the bus. They'll have the dogs on you. They'll turn everything upside down. It's rough, man. Like I've walked into Russia, no problem. Like, countries you'd expect, okay, they're going to be really hardcore. And they're not, but you go to Canada, where you think it's all, friendly and butterflies, and and they really put you through the ringer
at the border. It was great.
Yeah, they took us in this room once and had us all like, stand like arm width apart, and they had like this dog come. They took our tour manager to this back room, like strip searched him. It's like, it's crazy, man.
Sounds like the beginning of a really crazy porn film too.
Yeah. Yeah, one starring me, unfortunately.
So again, you ever get held up so much that like, hey, we're playing Toronto in 6 hours, we might not make it?
Not to that point. We haven't missed any shows as a result of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, stuff does happen. Sean had an issue getting into the UK on this last one. He had to get like a last minute visa. There was some sort of issue. So there's always something, man. It's touring doesn't go smoothly at the best of times usually. So there's a lot of work and planning that goes into it, but even so, there's always unforeseen stuff that you can't really plan for. So you have to improvise and hopefully have a tour manager with a good head on his shoulders,
and maybe a good attorney up in Canada,
and a good attorney. Yeah.
Do you, with the kind of things that can go wrong in my part of the business, radio DJs, very common for people to have a nightmare where you're trapped in the studio, but none of the music works and the microphone doesn't work. And it's, again, it's fairly common. Are there any dreams that you or musicians have about, I'm trapped on stage but nothing works? Do you have stuff like that too?
Gigmares.
Gigmares?
Gigmares, yeah.
Man, if that's not the name of a band, somebody's missing out.
Gigmares. Yeah, I'll have a gigmare from time to time. For me, it's usually I'm like really far away in the dressing room, and I can hear the guys starting to play, and I'm like, okay, I got to get to the stage, but I can't find my shoes, and you can't run. Have you ever tried fighting your dreams?
Yeah.
Like, it's like trying to punch.
Meanwhile, you're fighting with the blankets.
Trying to punch
right?
underwater.
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to get to stage. It's all slow, and the show's starting. I'm like, oh no, I'm missing it. Yeah, gigmares. It's I think everyone has them. I bet doctors have.
Oh sure.
Brain surgery mares, and race car drivers have track mares, and I don't know. Everyone has mares.
Brain surgery nightmares, and that sounds like.
Well, that sounds. Those are important. That's actual stress. This is. I mean, we're playing music. I mean, it's not important what we're doing. It's screw up a song. It's. Who cares?
You know what?
You screw up a brain surgery. It's kind of a big deal.
And I know the point you're making, and of course you're correct. But also, don't undercut yourself too much. I think, especially the way the world is right now, and everyone is ready to kind of strangle one another, and there's a lot of bad things happening.
Yeah.
There have got to be faces you see out in the crowd every night where the stress is just pouring out of them, and it's probably the most fun they've had in a long, long time. So in that respect, I would have to think what you do is really important to people.
Yeah, I suppose it is. In terms of people just getting to forget about all the negative stuff. It's a really weird time right now. I feel like people have become so kind of tribal and
polarized,
and everyone's mad at each other, and no one listens to each other, even though ultimately I think everybody kind of wants the same thing, or the same, at least, some of the same stuff. Man, so I mean, if people can come to a rock show and forget about that and, blow off some steam, I mean, it's good. It's healthy, if anything. Get drunk too, that helps.
Do the crowds these days, with that kind of stuff in mind, do they approach the shows differently in the United States as opposed to Europe, as opposed to South Africa or anywhere else?
I don't think so. I think generally at a rock show, people kind of leave the baggage at the door and just they just want to have fun. They bought their ticket. They've been waiting, hopefully, for a while. They're excited for the show, so they make the best of it. And I think it's important to have that, whether it's going to a rock show, whether it's, I don't know, going fishing or hunting, whether it's, cycling. I mean, it could be whatever your thing is that, lets you escape, the real world for a little bit and just, focus on something, however mundane it may be, if it takes you away from things that trouble you and negative things in your life, and it's good, and that stuff's important. I think I don't think you can really overestimate the importance of that stuff.
And even with that, though, there are so many tremendous positive things that can come out of a rock band or a song or something like the Rise Above Fest.
Yeah, that's a something that's obviously very important to us. Unfortunately, we're not going to do it this year. We kind of ran out of time to really. And we don't want to half-ass it. We want it to be.
Say again?
We don't want to half-ass it.
Okay, right.
Half-ass it.
So now that's a way of saying it a guy from New Jersey like me can understand. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna do it next year, and make sure it's really cool and do it right. But yeah, it's that's very important to us, and that I do think is important. That's it's a big problem, and it stems from the sort of climate we're in. I think people sitting behind keyboards, literally willing to say anything I don't think that's good for society. If you and I, or you're talking to anyone face to face, if you say something, there's a consequence.
Damn right there is.
Right. Sitting behind a keyboard, I mean, you can, anonymously say, say anything. And I think that's gone a long way to, make bullying more efficient and just generally make being an asshole easier for people. And
just what the world needed.
Exactly. So I feel like our technology has kind of outpaced our ability to adapt to it. We're living in this brand new world now. It's an entirely new way of communicating and fitting into the world, but we're still trying to figure out how to deal with it. So yeah, I think it's a big part of the the suicide problem, which Rise Above Fest kind of tackles or hopes to tackle to an extent, or at least raise money for awareness and trying to help people out and all that. But yeah, I definitely think the internet and that is a big problem. Kids used to get bullied in school, and at least they could go home and it's a safe space. Now you go home and you're on the social media stuff, and it's even worse almost, because it's easier.
And the bullies are everywhere now, not just in the hallway.
They are, And I saw a meme the other day that, like, the best thing about being being our age or whatever is that no one was around to like film all the dumb shit you did.
Thank you, God.
Because a lot of what I did.
Oh, I'd be in jail.
A lot of my stuff is filmed. But the really bad stuff isn't, thankfully. But yeah, it's all out there now, man. Like, you can't do anything, and it's gonna be out there. And then if you have something that goes viral for all the wrong reasons,
and there's
the amount of abuse and it's hard for people to deal with. It's a crazy world, man. It's just changed too quickly. Then we've had time to trying to change with it.
There's a really interesting and correct points that you brought up, and a little bit out of left field, just a guess, but there's a show I've watched of late that is really good at tackling issues like this and what they mean maybe to the near future, 10, 20, 30 years down the road. Have you ever seen something on Netflix called Black Mirror?
Yes, I watched, I think, was it the first episode?
Was that the one with the Prime Minister and the...
No, but I've heard about that one. That's
God,
crazy.
I can't. Yeah, you don't want to watch that one.
I've heard about that one. I watched the one with the guy where...
The chips in his eyes?
Yeah, the chips, and it would record everything. And then he went back after like a dinner party. And
yes.
And his wife, turns out, had, a fling in college with this dude. That was this whole thing. It was good. Yeah. I need to watch them all. Like, I've heard it's a great series.
Yeah, but for the kind of stuff that we've been talking about... technology moving too fast, people not able to adjust, relationships not able to adjust, bullying.
Yeah.
It really all gets put together in a way that makes the future look fucking scarier than usual.
It is, and I'd like to think we'll adapt to it and try and learn to live with it. Maybe it's easier said than done, though.
Yeah.
But I don't want to overlook all the positive stuff. There's such overwhelming, positive aspects to,
of course,
to all this technology, but that comes with the negative stuff. So we need to, I don't know, it's gonna, I know that there's gonna have to be probably real education at some point. Teach kids how to stay out of trouble, and it's kind of like, when they started making cigarettes, people didn't know they were bad. And once they started figuring out, this has got a negative effect on your health, they started like regulating stuff and having, public service announcements. And there might have to be a similar sort of campaign once they realize, there's too much internet, it's bad for your mental health. We need to regulate this stuff. And how you do that, I have no idea.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Let's talk some music again. Against the Wall, what kind of insight can you give?
Against the Wall. I think that's probably my favorite song on the album. I like it because it's just a bit different. It's not the sort of regular verse, chorus, bridge, chorus out kind of thing, that often, one sort of falls into. But yeah, it's just a, bit of a more mellow song. The first couple singles were, a little bit more aggressive and loud or heavy or whatever. Yeah, man. I'm excited to see what it does. I like it, so I hope it translates on radio.
Good stuff. Dale, it's always good to see you. Been a long time, man.
Yeah, man.
Always a pleasure.
Pleasure.
Dale Stewart of Seether. I'm Lou Brutus. We are backstage at Rockfest, Wisconsin, 2018.